Faith without works is dead is directly about you. James did not write this to scare struggling believers. He wrote this to expose religious people that talk up a storm about how much they love God, but don't actually have Jesus and don't actually show love to other people. The question is to ask yourself is, what's the standard? How much works until my faith is alive? How much lack of works until my faith is dead? You can't answer that question because you're misquoting this and don't know it contextually. So contextually, who's James talking to? Go read James 1:1. He's talking to the 12 tribes of Israel, religious people that followed the law well, had great outward works, had great actions, but they didn't have love. So James is saying to them, okay, you talk up this storm about all these works you have and how good of a religious person you are. Show me. James says, if a brother or sister be naked and destitute in food, and you say, go and be warm, what does it profit? He's saying, how are you going to profit these people that are, this is not a physical thing, this is a spiritual thing, that are spiritually naked and spiritually hungry if you don't give them the gospel, if you don't give them hope, and you just give them advice? You basically just tell them, yeah, go have good works, just go be religious, go try harder to honor God. You're not giving them hope, you're giving them more of a burden that they can't meet. Isaiah 61:10 says, he has clothed me with the garment of salvation, and he has covered me with the robe of righteousness. John 6:35 says, I am the bread of life. He that come to me shall never hunger, and he that believe on me shall never thirst. So when James talks about hunger and nakedness, he's talking about people that need covering from Christ. God is the one that gives us righteousness. We receive it. He gives it to us. And he's talking about, in the aspect of food, he's talking about people that don't need advice. They don't need the same thing they've heard over and over. They need something that's never going to make them thirst again. And that's believing in Jesus, and that's the gospel. And you know why you can't give people the gospel, and you know why you have dead faith? Because you go, look what I did. Just do what I did. You can't give them grace because you think you earned it. You never received grace. You can't give people forgiveness or love because you don't see what you were forgiven from. You don't see how you were loved, so you don't show that to other people. So what's the real problem here? You trust your obedience and you trust your works and your performance over trusting Jesus, the perfect one. You don't want to accept you couldn't do it. You don't want to let go of control, but then you want to frame it as if, well, I'm just producing works because I want to honor God. And that's not true. You're slapping a Jesus label on top of your own self-righteousness. And this is why you get so mad about Romans 4:5, the one that worketh not, but believe on him that justified the ungodly, his faith is counted as righteousness. It's because you're insecure. Your true heart is tied to your actions. So when you hear that someone else doesn't have to work for their salvation, you get offended and you get angry. And you know what that leads to? Accusations and pure rage. If you would just accept, I don't have works, I don't have love, I don't honor God, guess what would happen? You would go, wow, God still loved me. God still saved me when I didn't deserve to be saved. You know what that does? That produces real change that actually leads to you producing works that point people to the gospel. Works are going to reveal where your trust is. And true faith doesn't trust yourself, because God's word says very clearly that none is good, no, not one. We're deceitful. We're only evil continually. All of us have fallen short. All of us are offenders of the law. So if you really had faith, like you say, you would accept that you can't do it, and you would accept that you had to die, and you would accept that Jesus is living in you now. And now you can produce these works because it's supernatural. And it's not just this thing because the church told you, if you believe in Jesus, you better change your life.